We're live.
All right. And hack. Welcome to the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. Here at USDN, we strive to bring you the best content we can find, and where it comes with the USDN seal of approval. We will always strive to give you factual data, and if it's a rumor, we'll always say rumor alert, all right, before giving you the freshest info. However, once these rumors are proven true, you can bet your money we at DSN are slamming that stamp down and giving it the USDN seal of approval. Play intro.
Such a cool intro.
I love that intro.
Love it.
Kind of partial. All right. So, shots if you got them, people. We're taking some special shots tonight.
Very special shots tonight.
Yes, in honor of Special Agent Nick Fury and his beautiful wife, Vara, or Priscilla, however you'd like. I like to call her Vara. And, of course, to Maria Hill. Rest in peace, Maria.
For Maria.
Cheers. Cheers.
You still on the moonshine black?
Mm-hmm.
Strong man, I'm telling you.
No, these are show only drinks.
You still got that big old handle to finish too, man.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Today on a very special edition of the USDN, we are bringing you the Secret Invasion Route Party. We got messages, we got notifications, all asking us like, "Hey guys, why ain't y'all doing that breakdown episode by episode by episode?" Well, we were late to the game. We apologize, but we're making it up to you with one big ass route party. And I'm not shitting you. We are going to go episode by episode by episode by episode by episode by fucking episode tonight. So I hope you brought your thoughts and your opinions because we want to hear from all of you.
Yes. Please.
Yes. Well, I hope you guys pay attention because there will be some trivia questions from you diehard people out there. Pay attention.
I hope everybody tuned in is like ready for this because this is going to be a good one.
I'm hearing there's going to be an epic rant, but no other than Black.
Yeah. So fair warning, I may get triggered, especially when we start talking like grades and stuff. So, yeah.
All right. So, our backstory. So, the Secret Invasion takes place in the mid 2025 within the MCU timeline, right? Following the events of the Blip and post She-Hulk. So, the show was set up for the narrative, to set up the narrative for a lot of like oncoming projects, like the Marvels, Armor Wars, and according to the director and the cast members. So the MCU series shares only a very basic premise in common with the comic book and the source material, just so you guys knew.
So what was the difference between the comic book and what Disney and Marvel gave us on Secret Invasion, the TV series? Glad you asked. Well, the difference is in the TV series, the Skrulls took over higher echelon government officials, whereas in the comic book, they became the Avengers and other superheroes, where they also took on their powers, which to me, in my opinion, just fucking personal opinion here, taking over as world leaders is a lot fucking scarier. I'm sorry.
Yes.
As you saw.
No, I thought Secret Invasion did a very good job of telling the story of how they came into power. It also told a very good story on the conflict between a people trying to find their new home and also like the people trying to keep them a secret, because this was a very big plot of the whole show. And they did a really good job of just carrying that story through. The Skrulls are an interesting species, really.
Very.
Depicted in the comics, because they can be anywhere. They can be anywhere, anyone. Like, they did tell that story of how in the comics they were the Avengers. In this, over the course of it, it became more and more obvious that there's long-term implications of finding out that there are Skrulls among you, right? Yeah. So Marvel always hits the nail on the head with these types of things, telling these stories.
It's going to be interesting to see how the next phase of the MCU plays out with this new information gained from Secret Invasion. If we get anything at all, it may have no play in the new next phase of the MCU. But with that, let's roll right in to episode 1 and get your thoughts.
Right. All right. So episode 1, Resurrection. So this is where Nick Fury learns of the clandestine invasion of Earth by the Skrulls. So I think the opening of this episode, you see Agent Ross, which is Martin Freeman. We find him running, and he is a Skrull. So a big reveal right there.
Yes.
I think another thing that happens in here is we find out that Nick Fury hasn't been on planet. And they actually don't really go into that too much until a little bit later in the episode about where he's at.
Right. And they did bring up Saber. The fact that they brought up Saber was a big thing.
Yes.
But if you like following the theme of it, if you watched Spider-Man Far From Home, you kind of got an idea of where he was, because that was in the post-credit scene. So finding out that he was actually at Saber was kind of it was a nugget of episode 1. Like, oh, they're actually referencing Saber.
It would have been nice if they would have gave the people what the hell Saber was.
Exactly.
They never explained it.
They never even go into it. Even at the very, we'll just a quick glimpse into episode 6 when they are going back to Saber to kind of finish the project and also to start that peace treaty. It never gave us like what the hell Saber was, and we're not going to get into it here because we don't want to go down in that big loophole.
It's all right.
Also, if you're commenting, we cannot see who you are unless you give StreamYard permission to your Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just going to be a Facebook user, and I don't want to just keep referencing people as Facebook user.
It's a Skrull. Don't trust them.
Exactly. I mean, they've already said they're super secret Skrulls.
So, I really like this episode because I have a new favorite character. I love Sonya. So she's one of the MI6 secret agents. So remember, she kidnaps Fury, and Fury's asking her about what's going on with like the storage facility heist and stuff. And I love how she tells him like, oh, well, the old Fury is in no shape for the fight that lies before us. End quote. And I'm like, what?
She does it with her little cheeky British accent.
She
it makes it even better.
Yeah,
she does.
Awesome.
I love it. And I'm like, who is this woman? I'm like, I immediately liked her because I was like, I can't believe she's talking to Nick Fury that way.
This way.
Yeah, like you got old fast.
Poor Nick. Yeah, Nick's still badass though. And I think this is also where you find out that Fury and Agent Hill were being impersonated by Talos and Soren in this episode too.
Also, I want to point out that this was the highest rated episode in Secret Invasion by Rotten Tomatoes with 53%.
Yeah.
And we'll hit on those points as we go.
It's not
I'll
even.
tell you the score of each episode as we go.
Good idea. Good idea.
I'm gonna stay on topic. Sonya's an absolute thug, by the way. But yeah, I love Sonya. But yeah.
Yeah, she's more on that later. I agree. Sonya is a badass. I love her. So, and this is where you also find out where in Spider-Man No Way Home, that Talos is actually impersonating Fury.
Yep. He has been for a while.
Yeah, and he has been, which going on through these episodes, like it just blows my mind. Like, oh my god, that person's a girl. Oh my god. So I'm like, I couldn't believe that when you see Fury and Spider-Man, I was like, oh my gosh, that was Talos the whole time.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. I was like, really?
Yeah. It's the first time in this series that I asked, well, how long has he been him?
Exactly.
So I think he was him starting when he came back from the blip.
Yep.
Fury was he immediately went to Saber to just start doing that project. So he just kind of disappeared. And I think this is just me talking. I think Fury was like, hey, Talos, you're me until I get back. Cover down for me. All right, dude.
Hold it down.
Yeah.
And since him and Talos had such a long standing relationship, for Talos, that would have been nothing to do. You know, that's like, okay, cool. It's just another Monday.
Yeah.
That also begs the question of who else knew this information. Was Talos the only one privy to it? Or who else knew that Talos was playing Fury this whole time?
To be fair, it was probably just Talos and Fury.
Well, Vara knew.
Well,
yeah, Vara.
I mean, you gotta tell a wifey, you know.
Well, actually, no. He had been estranged for the last 3 years, I thought they said.
I don't know.
It seems like because when he got back to the house, I thought he this was like, whoa, you know, after 3 years, you're finally coming home, or you still live here. It was something to that effect.
Right, like what calamity has brought you back to me now?
Yes.
That.
Well, she comments on a later episode. I was going to save it, but she comments on, you know, you left me. I was during the blip,
right?
And then as soon as he came back, he leaves again.
Yeah.
So, and in her mind, she got abandoned twice. Well, obviously, the first time he can't help it. He turned into, you know, he got dusted. Yeah. But then the second time he chose to, and I think that's probably not to get too deep into another episode, trying to focus episode by episode, but I think that's what, really like hurt her. So
yeah.
But just to refocus, so in this episode, you also see Gaia. You meet Gaia, and you find out that she is Talos and Storm's daughter, and she does a big double cross. Sneaky Amelia Clark. She sends him on that wild goose chase leading up. This is towards the end of the episode where Fury comes face to face with Gravik, and then Gravik detonates the bomb in the public square in Moscow. Right in front of Fury. Just looked at him and just peek, boom.
Yep. While he's disguised as him at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like some next level gangster stuff right there.
I look like you, bitch.
I'm gonna kill your best friend in front of you while disguised as you, and then I'm gonna blow up the town square as an ultimate fuck you to everybody.
And then poor Maria.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Man.
Peace, Maria.
I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that at all. But episode 1, jeez, man.
They were like, "Let's get this one out of the way, guys. This one's gonna hurt." So that begs the question, though: does she have clones?
Oh, like
that's a good question.
Yeah,
like Coulson did. I don't know.
Coulson has clones. I mean,
well, I don't think so because we'll probably cover this in episode 2, but that whole procession thing in episode 2.
Yeah.
Which leads us into episode 2, but episode 1 really is always a gamble, Marvel-wise, for me.
Yep.
Because it's like if episode 1 is hard to follow, then the series is about to be amazing.
Yeah.
And for me, episode 1
was all over the place.
Yeah, it was all over the place. It was hard to follow. It's like you have to follow this person and this person. Oh, that guy's a Skrull. I didn't know that. Like, and I'm asking myself questions, and by the end, I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna watch it. I don't know where it's going, but
which is like a true spy thriller. You know,
Yes.
you gotta watch everybody.
it sets the scenes. It sets multiple scenes in one episode. It really does. And like that first episode really drug out the entire series.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. In hindsight, episode 1, watching it in the moment, I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's awesome. It's an awesome episode.
Yeah, once you got into it, you're like, okay, the complete and utter chaos from episode 1 makes more sense now.
It does. Yeah.
Right.
It really does. So, some Easter eggs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, just some things I like to dig up. I try to on every episode, or even do some trivia. So here's a little Easter egg. So Skrulls are impermeable to radiation of nuclear waste. Okay. So this is where there's an abandoned facilities where they made their new base or new Skrulls. Okay. So little tidbits there. And one person that they didn't really talk about too much that I wanted to bring out was Pagon. So he actually in the comics, and Jeff backed me up, he's the one in the Secret Invasion storyline that he was actually the one imitating Elektra.
Yes.
And he was the first Skrull that the Avengers found that was kind of infiltrating their team.
Yeah, and they kind of knew that one was obvious because obviously at this point Electric is dead.
What?
Yeah, she was already dead. So when she came back from the dead, they're kind of like, the fuck's going on here?
Right. All right, you ready to go to episode 2?
Yeah, let's roll it.
I got an Easter egg that is not Marvel related.
What is it?
What was the name of the guy that Ross was? He had figured everything out in episode 1, and he was telling Ross. I forget his name, but they were like, he was like, I know like something's happening, and he ended up shooting Ross, or Ross ended up shooting him. They get into it. He shoots him.
He was a Skrull, was he not?
Yeah, he was a Skrull. No, he was human. He was actually human. But do you know who that guy is? Do you know who that guy is?
I don't.
That is Beric Dondarrion from the Game of Thrones episodes. So we had a Game of Thrones reunion on this episode.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to I'd have to go back and watch Game of Thrones again, and I'm watching X-Files right now, and that's not happening until maybe after I finish X-Files.
No, I was watching and I was like, oh my god, this is Beric. I can't remember what his name was in the show though, but I was like marking out. I was like, oh shit, that's Garrett. That's Beric Dondarrion.
That is good catch. Good catch.
Good catch, man.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Love those. I love those little like, hey, guess what I found?
Oh, also, Sonya. There's a Captain America reference. That was a connection with Sonya. Sonya Falsworth is she has the same last name as one of the guys that was in the team with Captain America, Falsworth.
I remember reading about that. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's another Easter egg. It was some eagle eyes in there. Like you have to really pay attention. But those were the two I caught in episode 1.
I'm sure we missed a lot too.
Yeah.
Hey, if anybody else found anything, just throw it up there on the chat.
Please.
We can't catch everything because I missed stuff. All right. So episode 2, Promises. Fury grapples with the past and present. So this actually sets it up where it's 1997, and this is a couple of years after Captain Marvel, and we see a de-aged Samuel Jackson, Nick Fury. This is when he first meets our young Gravik. Now, to kind of set the tone, this is soon after Gravik's parents died after the Skrulls' last stand against the Kree. Okay. Now, I can save this trivia till the end, or a question, or we can do it now. What do you guys want?
Let's do it now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do it live.
Can you name a Kree? Name a Kree. I'll give you a hint.
I can because I'm looking at my cheat sheet.
I know. Don't cheat. Can you name a Kree? I'm looking for a specific one because I have a follow-up question. Can anybody name a Kree? Throw it up on the chat.
We'll give you some time.
Yeah.
Don't cheat.
Don't Google it.
Hey, and if you do Google it, I don't care. Just throw it in the chat.
Do you want a hint?
I do.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't even have the cheat sheet, and that was the first name that came in my mind.
Right? That's how we know the Kree, right? Through the movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on. Can you name a Kree? Can you name a Kree? Kree.
I know we got people watching. I can
Do
see.
you give up? Do you give up?
Go ahead, Jen.
All right.
Let 'em have it.
Ronan, our favorite bad guy from the very first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
Now, here's a follow-up question. Name his ship.
I know the answer to that one too.
Name Ronan's ship. Because when I was like, that's the name of his ship, that's freaking badass.
Not gonna lie though, I like the name of this ship.
That name of that, his ship in general was just.
It was badass.
It was just badass. I'm like, I want a ship like that. Like, can I become Kree and get a ship like this?
Hey, I want the spaceships that we were promised in the 90s, okay?
I know.
Are you talking about Total Recall?
I know. I'm still waiting for the hoverboards.
It's not just Total Recall. There's been multiple movies where they promised us freaking spaceships in the 2000s.
This is true.
And flying cars.
This is true.
I would settle for the iRobot cars. Like, just drive me to work.
The Audis.
Yeah, the Audis. Yeah. And the Kree are from Captain Marvel. Yes.
You are correct.
Correct.
But they're also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
We first saw them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
This is true.
The Dark Aster is the name of the ship. The Dark Aster. I know.
Hey, Bubba.
All right. So further on in this episode, just kind of setting the tone. So this is where Fury tells them that the Earth is facing a very serious threat and he needs the Skrulls' help. And he says, and I quote, "Well, you work to keep my home safe. Carol Danvers and I will find you a new one."
Oh, and they held them to that too.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did.
Yes.
It's the whole plot of the whole series.
It is.
Yeah. And I think in this particular episode, this is where Fury finds out there's 1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million. No, Skrulls. They're on the Earth walking around as humans. Now, that might not seem a lot, but that's a lot of Skrulls. Just can be anybody.
That's 1 million lives.
1 million.
That are either dead or tucked away in a dungeon somewhere.
Yeah.
Most likely dead.
That's a lot.
You're correct.
I mean,
Rabbit's human is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an episode 6 thing.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, that train scene, masterpiece.
Dude. Masterpiece. That scene alone had me hooked.
Yeah. I think that's
like
where I was like, okay, business is picked up. Especially how he told that story of like his mom riding the train with him to Detroit and how he ended up like, I know when someone's lying, like he set that up perfectly. I was like, that's something my mom would do. Like she'd tell a story.
That's any Southern mama right there.
He's such a good monologuer too. Like
he really does.
You in and just he's so.
Hey, I'm still disappointed that he didn't get the first F-bomb in the MCU.
Right.
Halfway, it was almost there.
It was, but I'm still disappointed in that fact.
That's all right. Let's slide this time. So in this one too, this is where that one scroll, I think his name is Brogan. He ends up taking the fall from Moscow, and you see
Yes.
him being interrogated in like a meat locker.
Yeah. Sonya was lighting homeboy up.
So sorry. My girl Sonya came back. And I love how she's like, you're like, is there like a back door to get out of here? And they're like, oh yeah, it's under there.
She was fucking polite about it the entire time she was interrogating his ass.
Just in case.
That's like the most British thing ever is like, I'm going to interrogate you, but I'm going to be
I know.
really nice about it.
I want a couple. And she just like, she doesn't pull any punches. I mean, she freaking cuts his guy's
she
finger
cut his
off.
finger off. She was like, "Oh, okay. Now that we got this out the way, let's play." Hold up.
I know. And then I was really curious what she actually injected him with that actually started to like make his blood boil. I was like, what was that?
That was some super secret MI6
Yeah.
scroll,
Scroll,
serum or
cayenne
something.
pepper, habanero,
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
crap that she like he's still.
But that dude pulled it off. Like I don't know who the actor was that played this guy, but that actor was
Yeah.
the way he like all right, dude, I'll give you some props.
Yeah. He did a good job with that because he did make that look painful. I was like, okay. I think also you go to like New Scrollos, and I tell you, I was like watching that screen like a hawk to see what kind of DNA they already had. Did everything?
Yes.
Yeah, and that should Gravik ends up showing it a little bit more later, but so they have the Frost Beast
Uh-huh.
from Thor: The Dark World,
Yeah.
and then they have Groot.
Yeah.
I don't know the Latin fauna, whatever. Sorry. From Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they have Cull Obsidian from the Thanos' Black Order, and then they have the Extremist from Iron Man 3.
Yep.
Something I really couldn't find any information. I was curious how they got those.
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
If you really want to know.
No, I do
No,
because
I think it's
looked.
important.
Okay.
I mean, it's not quite the harvest that we get to later, but it's pretty darn close to the same
It's
mixture. It's missing some, but
Right.
it's there.
Right. Now, I'm gonna start with this. Jeff, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you know the mention of the Super Scroll in this episode, right? They mentioned it, right? And that's where you got this from.
Yes.
What was the first Super Scroll made out of?
the Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a Fantastic Four, yeah.
Correct. Now, Groot.
Fantastic Four, number 18 from the 1960s to be exact.
Exactly. Now follow me. Groot, when he can stretch out, he is imitating who?
Mr.
It's not
Fantastic.
Groot. It's Mr. Fantastic.
I know, but Groot's imitation of stretching his arm out, his limbs, is like Mr. Fantastic.
Okay.
Cull
Yes.
Obsidian is an imitation of the Thing. Extremis is an imitation of Johnny Storm.
Okay.
And the Frost Giant was supposed to be an imitation of Miss. I want to say Miss Invisible.
Sue.
Sue Storm, but
yeah,
yeah,
it's supposed to be that imitation, right? Starting off, but as it evolves as the series does. It's the same. It's the same homage, but in different forms.
Yeah.
Later in the show. But
I mean, for me, if you're gonna do it, just give us the comic book.
yeah.
Granted,
I
they
think
hadn't.
there's
I think a reason why they didn't do it that way is because the Fantastic Four hadn't been introduced into
Exactly.
the MCU.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, probably.
But that's what it is. It's a homage to the Fantastic Four.
I like it. In the roundabout way they did it, I liked it.
Yeah, it did. It didn't make sense to me until I had a conversation with someone.
I
Makes sense.
spent a lot of time on Google. shortly after.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rob. Me and Rob had a lot of conversations about this show.
Yeah. Wow.
He made it make sense for me. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, that's like if I have a question about Star Wars, I immediately go to Rob.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Rob, I'm confused on this timeline. Help me out here, bud.
Well, it's just like that one time Kaylee had a bunch of questions about, oh gosh, you called Coley. Do you remember that?
Halo.
Yeah, you had a lot of questions about Halo. And so so he just called Coley. Man, Coley went on for like what? Good 45 minutes, 45 minutes.
Excellent conversation.
I learned a lot.
If you want to know about Halo and aircraft, Joshua Coley.
Yeah, Joshua Coley. He's got you. All right. You guys ready to go to the third episode?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Right. So episode 3, Betrayed. This is where Fury uncovers a rebel scroll plot. And then it also, this is what we were just talking about a little bit before.
With Fury and Vara.
Yeah, you start diving into their relationship.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, from her perspective, she's been abandoned twice. Once, he couldn't really help with the blip, but the second time he, from a woman's perspective, like you didn't have to leave, but you did.
Right.
And she's been mentioned throughout the MCU on a few occasions, but we didn't know at the time that she was a Skrull.
Right.
And then this is also the episode where Talos receives the tip from Gaia about the nuclear sub that's going to, the British nuclear sub that's going to attack the United Nations.
Yep, where they're getting ready to do the treaty talks, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, that's where we see that. So I'm glad to see that, Gaia is coming to the light side instead of like working with Gravik.
Yeah, I think
Amelia.
in episode 2, when she's seen how Gravik was becoming, I mean, he killed freaking
Brogan.
What's his name? Brogan, in that second episode, like, and not just him, I think he might have killed a few others too in that outburst he had. So
yeah, dude, probably because as a villain, he's one of the more ruthless villains that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, and they toned him down too.
Yeah, they did. But the actor who I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, it's
is it King something, Ben something?
He's got a hyphenated last name.
Yeah, but yeah, he's
awesome.
He played the hell out of Gravik.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job. I was actually sad to see him go, but yeah, he did. He did a great job.
Yeah, he played him really well. And he did a very good job of establishing
Kingsley Ben Adir.
Yeah, him.
Okay.
I didn't want to say Ben Kingsley because I was like, I know it's not him, but yeah, he did a very good job of Marvel does what up, Mac? Marvel does
it's your boy.
Marvel does this really good job of the villain angle because they make it super relatable. Even like when he's going through, and in this episode, like one of the biggest things in this episode was him finding out like someone's betraying me and I need to figure out who it is. And when he suspects Gaia, like he doesn't go all the way in and saying, hey, I think it's you.
Right.
Like he lets her lead herself on.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was great because he was like, I'm not gonna be ruthless to you, even though I know it's you.
So,
and that made it more
but
like
she also figured that out.
Right.
That he knew.
Right.
And she took her measures to ensure her own safety.
Correct.
So we didn't know that by the next episode. Can I just have to have just a tiny little rant here, okay?
Go for it. That's what we're here for.
So you see Gaia, right? She's like, all right, I just betrayed Gravik, like on the utmost level. I got to get the fuck out of here, right? She jumps on a motorcycle wearing her face. She is a Skrull. You can look like anything. Like, do you remember on Captain Marvel where Carol Danvers tells Nick Fury they can change their appearance, everything, all the way down to the DNA? Girl, you could have walked out there looking like a mouse. But no, like she goes out there with her face and just leaves. Like no creativity, nothing. She just leaves. She just gets on her motorcycle and does me, and then she's like, "Oh my God, Gravik's there!" And I'm just like,
Hey, let's take this time while this rant's happening and give Emilia Clarke her dues because she nailed this fucking role.
She did.
And she does all her roles, but this one was really special.
She did. I definitely love it.
I agree with this, even though I am very impartial to Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
But, hey, if you got to put one number one and a number two, you get Daenerys, you get Gaia, and they're very close.
Yeah, you're right. There's a similarity there. She's not as calculating, but she is very in this series very great at maintaining a cover.
Yeah. She is.
She rides the line like crazy in this series,
and I think that's what gave us the ending of episode 6, and that's what kind of we'll get there.
Yeah.
Right. She's not loyal to anyone but her home.
Yeah. Yes.
She has no home.
So, and then you'll also get a little tidbit here, if you really listen, where Vara tries to call Gravik. And I picked up on it. It was Carl Rhodes' voice.
Immediately.
It was Rhodes' voice. Well, you're talking to me. And I'm like, is that Rhodes? Back it up.
Yeah.
Watch it again. I was like, oh my God, it was.
No, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that did. I'm like, what the hell does this sound like Rhodey for?
It did. It sounded like Rhodey. And I was like, oh man, Rhodey. And
not Rhodey. Yeah. As soon as I heard his voice on the other end, I'm like, wait, is he a fucking Skrull?
Yes. Yeah. My reaction was like, okay, how long? How long has this been going on?
Exactly.
He had been down. Well, we'll get to that later.
Get to that later.
Yeah.
But you know what kills me? If you read anything, I don't really pay attention to what critics say when it comes to like the TV shows. Like I read it, and I'll probably majority of the time I don't agree with them at all. I like movies and TV shows for my own reasons, but they said that by this episode, like having that surprise, this person's a Skrull was really becoming anticlimactic, and I don't understand why people felt that way.
Because they're fucking idiots.
Because
I said it.
Like I'm like, you know, if you follow these people all the way from like the very first Iron Man movie, like I'm very vested in these characters.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And to find out that, you know, like how long has Rhodey been a Skrull? Like how long was Agent Ross a Skrull? Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it almost makes me want to go back and like watch the movies and be like, is he acting weird? Like, you know, trying to pick up on
if you go back and watch it, Rhodey does not have like his mannerisms, his speech patterns and that kind of stuff you don't get that until you get to Secret Invasion. So when you do go back and watch it, he's still himself from what I can remember from watching the other movies. Yeah. But you can almost tell immediately when at the beginning of Secret Invasion, when he comes into play,
right,
that something's not right about him.
Yeah.
Right.
You almost get those little hints that like, that doesn't really sound like something Rhodey would say.
Yeah.
Or why would Rhodey do this versus this? This dude's a colonel in the military.
Right. I have a theory that when we get to it, I'll share my thoughts on exactly when I think Rhodey became a Skrull.
Yes, I would like to hear yours because it may mirror my own.
Okay.
All right. So, let's see. Oh, some things to note on this episode, some Easter eggs. So Talos points out to Fury during this episode that without himself and the other Skrull operatives, like he would have never been able to climb the ranks. Oof. that one hit hard. But
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like, do you want to get kicked in the nuts or do you want to get told the truth?
yeah, I think that was kind
Right.
of both.
That was a big old spoonful of truth.
Yeah.
It was.
And I mean, because you go back and you watch all the movies, or I just think about it, I'm like, it's true. Like he was always one step ahead, and
Yeah,
that's
because he had the
Wow.
intel.
yeah, he had the intel from his Skrull operatives.
Right.
But that
Right.
doesn't take away from the fact that he still would have probably climbed the ranks, just not as fast as he did.
And
No.
for him to organize that many operatives too also takes a lot of intelligence and a lot of skill, to be able to organize all that and put people where you need them. And, yes, we will get to that. What
Yes.
Rhodey in the end game. Yes, we will get to that.
But
All
good
right.
question.
Yes.
Very good
point to pick up. Yes. All right. So you guys ready to go episode 4?
Let
Let's
me
do
go.
it.
Let me go over because I made some extra notes on the episode.
Okay,
oh,
cool.
Yeah. Let's
Go
hear
for
it.
it.
Let's hear it.
The moment I figured out that Rhodey was a Skrull, and this goes back to episode 2. In episode 3, when they go to the guy's house and they have him, and he's like calling him Nick, and he's like, "No one calls me Nick," right?
Yeah.
Rhodey called him Nick in episode 2 when he fired him, and I was like,
That's true.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh." So-
You slipped.
But the
Yeah.
question is, how the hell does Nick Fury get fired when the organization he works for technically don't exist?
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
Well, and this goes back to episode. This goes back to the episode, right? So in the episode, they literally showed you how Skrulls had infiltrated the highest parts of each government. And Rhodey working this close to the president means the president is not a Skrull, but Rhodey has influence over him as a Skrull.
Uh-huh.
So that pretty much cancels the president out from being a Skrull. But hold on, the light bulb just went off. We'll go with that. We'll hold that. We'll table that one. But Rhodey being in that position, right,
Yeah.
held a lot of influence and a lot of power. And that's how that was able to work out.
And it also makes you think, like, how did Rhodey end up in this position to begin with?
Do you want to hear somebody's theory?
What is
Yes.
I was gonna save it till the last one. He's in a hospital gown. He's at that colonoscopy age, He's probably like getting a scopy scope and
But no, you know what I'm saying though is like this dude all of a sudden is like the president's exec as a colonel is what I'm
Yeah.
referring to.
Yeah.
probably because
So-
he's War Machine. I think
You think it's because he's War Machine?
I think so.
Well,
know.
if you
A little bit more clout,
Because I mean, he went from a captain to a fucking full bird in a small time frame there. So I mean, he hit every promotion first time out the gate. And oh, by the way, he made colonel and lieutenant colonel below the zone to get
Right.
there.
right.
So also leads you to go, well, fuck, how long has he really been a Skrull?
That's a very good question. I'm
Mhm.
gonna do my best to answer that. But to your point, being that he was War Machine, being that he did fight in the war for humanity in Wakanda
Mhm.
in Endgame, that may have had some extra points, right?
I think so too.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that's
By
a
the
fucking
way-
great OPR bullet.
It is. Literally saved the world. Literally saved the world. But with that being said, hold that information because it's gonna come in handy later.
Save it.
Bet.
Okay. All right. So episode 4, Beloved. So this is where Fury's got to make some hard sacrifices. All right. So I felt redeemed in my emotions. Gaia comes back. Right. She's got the stick to Super Skull
She hit the
treatment.
serum. Yep.
Yeah. The
She's
extremist. She
incredible.
comes back. So I forgive her for her horrible choices. It's like I forgive
Very
you, Gaia.
bad choices.
I know. That was really bad. Yeah. I was
It's
super-
one of those where you scratch your head and go, girl, what the hell you doing?
But what? Like, were you panicking and just like tripped
That was
over
a complete- That was a fucking panic. That was like
Yeah,
a
that was.
hardcore.
was.
Like,
but
what the fuck am I doing? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Or was it planned?
It was a teenage
It
breakdown.
was totally planned. That's why I was like, I felt so much better. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I feel, yeah. All right. So now there's one thing I do want to point out about the extremist ability. You remember in Iron Man 3, they can actually breathe fire?
Yeah.
Do you think she came full circle and now she's like a dragon? Maybe.
Aww.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
That's awesome.
Game of Thrones reference, people, in case you missed it.
Can she? I really like this episode too, because we got to learn more about Vara. Got to learn about how they met. Do you guys want me to go over about how she became Vara, or does anybody want to?
I want you to give me 1 minute.
Oh.
So episode 2 had a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. In episode 3, we get our first big decline at 38%.
Really?
And episode 4 landed at 38% as well. Now we're caught up on Rotten Tomato scores.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Say those numbers again.
So episode 1 was
You don't write
52.
them down.
Yep.
Episode 2 was 50.
Yep.
Episode 3, 38.
Yep.
Episode 4 was also a 38.
Really?
Okay.
Come on, people.
And when we get to 5, we'll announce that one because we had a slight increase on 5.
Oh, that's good. Word got
Oh,
out.
it gets worse. It never got better, but it gets worse.
So I like how Vara explains how she chose Priscilla as a disguise. She wanted something that would slip past Fury's defenses, which it did. And then I think Fury even credits her into saying like, "Oh, you were playing the long game even then."
Right.
And I like how Vara came clean with this woman. She was spending all this time with Dr. Priscilla Davis is her name. She's spending all this time with her. And, when Priscilla was about to die, she, tells her why she's really there. And she makes Vara make her 3 promises. Right? 1 was to bury her at sea.
Mm-hmm.
2, to continue to be a daughter to her parents. And then 3, never hurt Nick.
So that leads to question. Nick and her were already together. And you do get that in the flashback scene.
Right.
And that would have been Dr. Priscilla before she became Vara. And Vara did it on purpose. So, question though, if you go back to episode 1, maybe it was episode 2. I think it was episode 2 when they're talking about, hey, me and Miss Marvel will find you, or Captain Marvel will find you a new home. And he's telling that to the crowd. So is Vara the mother with Gravik there?
No, she's not supposed to be.
Because remember, you see that young girl in the mall.
Right. And
we know that Vara and Gravik have a close relationship.
I think it's a mother-son relationship, but I don't...
That's what I'm talking about. Is she Gravik's mother?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
From what I read, she's not supposed to be.
Go back and watch episode 2 and let me know, because I'm curious if I was just like way overthinking that, or.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
Hey, if anybody out there knows or can answer that question, drop it into the chat.
Yeah.
Y'all been quiet for a hot minute now.
Yeah. Let's...
So, I like the poem that they read.
Great poem.
Great poem.
Yes, touching.
Yes, right, it is, and it is called Late Fragments. I didn't write down who wrote it, but it says, did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, and the other person would say, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on earth. And this point, they both draw their guns. And then the screen goes black and you hear gunshots.
Right.
Right. And and I loved what Fury said, because then it goes back to the screen and you see that they both like missed on purpose. And I loved how he's like, well, I don't know, we should get a divorce or renew our vows.
Right.
I love that growth so much.
Okay. So somebody did point out that Gravit's parents did die, and that he was taken in by Talos and Vara.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that table scene. The table scene and the train scene.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two best scenes in this entire series.
So what do y'all think happened? Did the bullets ricochet off each other, or were they just both like...
No, they missed on purpose.
Okay.
They weren't going to kill each other.
Wow.
Because
that part had me confused as hell. I'm like, wait, did they just miss each other on purpose? Did the bullets hit each other and ricochet off?
It was an intentional miss. It was like the opposite of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, I missed you. I meant to, I didn't mean to really shoot at you. I meant to miss you on purpose.
I missed you on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an underrated movie, by the way. I don't like the fact that it broke up, Brad and Jen, but that was actually a really good movie.
It's a great movie. It's a really great movie.
All right. And this is also the episode where you finally find out that Rhodey's a Skrull.
A female Skrull.
Female Skrull at that.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. That's
a good
what
point.
I
They were both willing to let the other one kill him.
Yeah. I know.
Yep.
That's and even when the other episodes where she goes and she's pulling the gun out of like the safety deposit box, and you can just see the uncertainty on her face, because I know Gravik tells her to kill Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And she's I don't know how in deep she was with Gravik, but I mean, you could see that uncertainty, like she doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And I feel like, there's like this almost like uneasiness with her when they're sitting at the table together.
Like she knows the moment of truth is there.
Yeah.
But even if you go back to that scene where they were talking in the church, it was like she was trying to tell Rhodey, the Skrull, that, all right, he's old. He's not going to do anything, right? He's not even himself anymore. Like, we don't even have to worry about him anymore. She was trying to, get the pressure off killing him. Like, he's going to die anyway. He's defeated. Like, let's just leave him be. He's not a threat anymore. Yeah. Which probably pissed Nick Fury off hearing this.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
He was sitting there like, man, I can't believe this. Like, me? Y'all talking about me like this?
How about your house?
Yeah.
Hey, I know we're only on episode 4, but episode 5 proved that Nick Fury was still Nick Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was still a G.
Yes.
So here's a little tidbit of information that I totally forgot about. And then once I read it, I was like, oh, duh. So do you know the rule with iPhones and villains? A villain can never have an iPhone. It is in their contract.
Really?
Yes. So Rhodey had an Android.
Is this true?
Yes, I promise. Rhodey had an Android. He did not have an iPhone. So it is in the iPhone's contract that bad guys cannot have iPhones.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, damn, really? And I went back, sure shit. He's got an Android. I was like, I guess I'm a bad guy.
Well, that probably holds true in my house too, because everybody has an iPhone except my wife.
Yeah. Oh,
she's a villain.
villain.
We give a shit about it too. Yeah, she's.
Don't let her hear you say that.
Oh, we already told her she hurts the family by not having an iPhone. She knows.
Oh, hey, I'm the holdout in my family, so.
Huh.
All right, man. If you go missing, we know what happened to your ass.
Document this day.
Right. I know it. And
see, this person agrees.
That person is also a villain.
Who are you? Drop who you are into the chat so I know who you are. You've been here with us the whole show, man. Or lady.
All right.
Or as the
So
teenagers just say, bruh.
God, I can't keep up with this one. All right. So episode 5. Episode
Ooh,
5.
we're
The
there.
Harvest.
5.
We are. So episode 5, Harvest.
Shit
So
is getting real on this episode.
Oh God, I can get. I love it.
All right, let's start off with the what's the Rotten Tomato score on this episode?
I'm glad you asked, my old friend. And I could say that because we've been friends for like 20 fucking years.
Yes, that's true.
So
Jen too.
Jen too, yeah. We shot back up to 50% for this episode, and this episode was, like I said, this episode was good as hell.
Steamer. Okay. So this is where Fury gathers his allies and Gravik deals with the unrest. So this is where Gravik plans to kill the president. And that was foiled in episode 4. And then we see our buddy Pagon, who actually questions Gravik's leadership.
Yep.
And this is where, Gravik made a big mistake. One of, his lieutenants questioned him, and then he kills him. And
well, it wasn't the fact that he did it. It was the fact that he did it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the moment he did that, he had to go.
Yeah. I got to make an example out of you.
Yeah.
If only we could get away with that in real life.
Right.
Like, oh, you questioning my leadership?
Well, that's why you gotta do the pep talk. You gotta do the rally. Use that. But he kills him. In my mind, that's what you do. If somebody starts questioning your leadership, you gotta get back to the basics. Like,
I got to show you how I got here.
Yeah, but he kills him. But see, the negative side effect is now all the Skrulls, the new Skrullos, now they don't trust him. They had like all the shifty eyes, like, oh, he killed Pagon.
Right.
Yeah. And then I didn't understand until we got to episode 6 why he told Rhodey to reveal the location of New Skrullos to the president, so that he'll hopefully launch and try to like blow it up.
Right.
Yeah. That I was like, man, what are you doing? Even Rhodey, like, or whoever, Rava, whoever it is, like, even it's like, are you sure? You sure you're doing that?
So I'm glad this person asked that. It's clear because it's just the refined DNA that was taken from the blood that was left on the battlefield.
Which episode 5 did a good job of setting that up too, because they pointed out the fact that Nick Fury sent Gravik as the leader of the team to go collect and clean up all the stuff that happened after Endgame. That was a great setup.
It was.
Yeah, I agree.
Dirty martini color.
Yeah. No green for Hulk.
Nope.
It's the refined DNA out of the blood. So I imagine if you watch any other CSI shit, that shit comes out clear as hell when they start doing weird DNA testing shit.
Yeah.
Sister D.
Air didn't hit it yet. It's clear.
Yeah. And then you see Gravik and like all his glory when all the rebels like gang up on him, beat him up, kill him, whatever.
He started murking motherfuckers. Just bam.
Yeah.
You get a group fist. You get a group fist.
I was like, oh dang! Like he didn't have just like one or like the extremes. I'm like, he had all of them.
I think Wanda's blood was on that list on the computer.
Bro, they had everybody on there.
It was
Thanos
like everybody's
was on there.
that was Thanos. You name it, it was there.
Yeah.
If they were on the battle on Wakanda in Endgame,
they had their
there.
DNA. Yeah, they have their DNA. They
went through like a whole box of like 1,000 Q-tips. Oh, there's a little blood. Let me get that. Oh, there's a little blood.
Swab it.
Everybody got swabbed that day.
I know. That's what
Who can you turn into? Kill him, collect his DNA.
I agree
She did use Wanda's power there for a second.
But to me, Wanda's power takes practice and like finesse. though, in my opinion. Because, I mean,
So
using the other ones is, to me, is like more like a reflex. You know what I
yes.
mean? That's what I feel like anyway.
So this one here, Abomination, wasn't out there. That is correct. But this isn't. It wasn't just from the Battle of Wakanda. Nick Fury had been sending Gravik and his team out for years and years and
Eons.
years.
This is a theory. This is a theory that I have that I'm gonna address when we get to the roadie part of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Because right now we're just on the harvest.
Yes.
We slow rolling.
So that's when there's also the part where Sonya calls out her boss, the director, Weatherby, I think is his name, for being a Skrull.
Right.
Yes.
And that's where she finds the location of the Skrull, Dr. Rosa Dalton, that actually made that
The device that was able
Yes.
to inject them with the
device.
the mutagen, because we get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on August 2nd.
Ew.
I should get paid for my plugs.
You should. Where's my sponsorship?
At least give me some fucking residuals.
Right.
Hope you guys
I
are
got
listening.
bills.
And I really liked it when she went to the lab and got Dalton and her husband Victor. I really like this scene because she's very upfront. She's like, I know you're both Skrulls. Let's just let's not.
Yeah, let's skip the niceties, and I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna destroy this, and okay, thanks guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah. You're both
Pain
getting
will
the
be
9mm to the skull.
And then out of all things, her husband uses her as a human or Skrull shield and holds a gun to her head.
Fucking pussy.
And then
And he still
Sonya,
took one.
Yeah, Sonya, I love her. Just very calmly holds her gun out and just pow.
The act, like how casual. I fell in love with her in this episode.
I did too. I love her.
I love her.
She stole the show.
I love her. She
every
was like,
every scene she's in, she stole.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
she was like, oh yeah, they talk about this on podcast. Pow! I was like, oh shit. That was so casual. I love you.
And she did it with a smile and
Yes.
a British accent, and then had tea and crumpets afterwards.
Very good. Oh god.
Oh no.
I love her. She's just so cold. I love it. It's just like another day at work.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. We talked about this morning. Die.
And then so I can imagine how that doctor, the scientist, felt. Like she's like, damn, this woman just saved my life. Like she was like totally down to do whatever. Like, yeah, whatever, this lady just saved my life. That's what I feel like anyway.
Right.
And then she one to the skull too.
Right. And then and then it's at the very end of this episode. It's where Fury Sonya was real. She showed off the dark. Yeah, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she can get it done. And what we've kind of been talking about is that, this is where Fury acknowledges the fact that he sent, a team of Skrulls that Gravik led to go and collect the DNA at the different battles that the Avengers and other like superhumans and whatnot fought at. And that's probably where Gravik came up with the idea to make Skrulls.
Right.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, is that why Fury came back to Earth? Do you think he knew Gravik was doing this? Or was it because Talos called him? I
think it was a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did address this in episode 6. I think
they did too.
But
I missed that. I didn't. What was that?
So the Fury has another, kind of Jesus moment where he's like, he was the one that sent Gravik and a team of Skrulls to go collect all this DNA at like the different battles and everything that the Avengers and other heroes had. And it kind of made me start thinking, like, is this really the reason why Fury came back? Like, do you think he knew that Gravik was doing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a good question, actually. This guy said that this can't be the only bottle of magnet sauce.
Oh,
And it's quite possibly not, because, I mean, Nick said he has several different grave markers throughout the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that there is more than one copy of the Harvest out there.
Oh, he would not just
most
have
definitely.
one.
Yeah, no. It's fucking Nick Fury.
You gotta have a plan B, because you know this first copy is gonna be some bullshit, bro. It's like, I mean, somebody's gonna abuse it.
Yeah. But so this is where we get to see Fury suit up. Oh,
yo, that scene at the end of episode 5, holy shit! That gave you the little goosebumps, man, when you see all the little like entombments opening up, and there's like, oh, there's my jacket, there's my beanie, my eye patch, my Glocks. Like,
fun fact, he didn't wear that eye patch the whole show until that moment, and I was like, why?
Hey, that's when you know it's the real fucking Nick Fury, man.
It made sense once he went to that tomb and got all that stuff. I was like, oh, okay, business.
That's when you knew that shit got real, man.
Yeah.
Hell no, it was cooler the way it was. Yeah, he could have consolidated and just put all his shit in one, but that don't make for good TV.
It's a spy show, bro. You gotta have like stuff popping out everywhere. It made sense.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He needed a mailbox first thing.
You don't want to bring home a jacket.
I mean, that's a big ass leather jacket. That's one entombment. I mean,
yeah.
And he had 2 Glocks and 2 Mads. So I mean,
listen, if you have the means to have your watches in a pop-up drawer, your shirt in another pop-up drawer, your underwear in another pop-up drawer, I'm pretty sure you're gonna make that happen.
Dude,
this makes perfect sense to me.
And I'm gonna use it every single day.
Every day.
It's extra.
And I'm never gonna get fucking tired of being extra.
Yeah.
Extra. All right. Are you ready for the last episode?
Let's do it.
All right. Episode 6. Home. All hope for humanity rests on Fury's shoulders. All right. So this is where Gaia goes to New Skrullos. Disguised as Nick Fury. Now,
so the whole time I thought that was the real Nick Fury. She pulled that
she
shit
played that
so
great.
fucking well.
I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I'm like
radiation.
Nick. Yeah, I'm like, and it makes you wonder, like, you had to kind of figure out something was up, because Nick would know that area was still contaminated with nuclear waste.
Right.
Why would he not be wearing a mask?
Or something.
Oh, and okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves into this is the lowest score in the history of the MCU. And it was a 13%. Now, I don't know who does Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know who's going on Rotten Tomatoes and voting for this shit. But they are obviously not watching the same fucking show I was fucking watching.
Rant time. You need the shit slapped out of you. Whoever came up with these scores, slap the shit out of them. Stop scoring movies.
Mm-hmm.
Who watched this and who scored it this low? There is no audience other than people who blatantly hate Marvel that scored this show as low as they did.
Hey, there's a few of them on our fan page that absolutely hate the
Tim
MCU.
Deckard, I'm talking to you. Did you watch this show and did you score this shit for Rotten Tomatoes?
Tim knows we're talking about him right now. Tim fucking knows, okay?
Oh, I know he sat there happy.
He fucking created 100+ freaking logins just so he could go in there and vote multiple times. I guarantee you, Tim did it.
This was,
and he's a fucking Cardinals fan. That explains everything.
So this is an interesting point one of the Facebook users put. Like, I actually thought he did have a suit on and he was just playing. Like, I thought that was Nick Fury and he had something. I'm like, oh, he's got a suit on or he's got something. Like,
he's playing the game, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Like, it's Nick Fury. The long game is always being played.
Always. I knew something was up.
Oh, come here.
And
Hey, it's not a podcast until the cat shows up. So
I know.
He's been an asshole the entire time, by the way.
And then I was surprised by the fact that he actually gave Gravik the harvest. I was actually shocked at that too. I was like, wow, I can't believe he actually gave him that. I didn't think he was actually going to.
But they also leads you to believe, like, why the fuck would he just hand it over to him?
Right.
And then when he beats the shit out of him, like Gravik is beating the shit out of what we assume is Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Why would he not try to get out of the way of this thing? Because it may kill him or do something else to him.
Right. That's what I thought too. I was like, why is he just staying? Like, is he gonna try to get himself into this? Like, what is going? Like, he wants the power.
Oh, and Tim knows what he did.
Yes, Tim. You know, we know what you did, Tim.
Poor Tim.
Sad. But yeah, that whole scene, I was like, why would you stay in there when you know that you're all, first and foremost, you're in a field of radiation and you're about to get more radiation. This is going to kill you. So I'm like, something's up. Like, does he already have the superpower in him that he can stand it?
Right. And so when the device actually goes off, I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, is Samuel just done playing Fury? Like, I'm like,
no, I think he still has like a few movies and left on his contract with Marvel.
This is it for you, boy.
I can't see nobody else playing Nick Fury, man.
No, never.
I really can't.
No. He won't let anybody. I bet you. He's like, nope. He's like, I think
it's a contract clause. Like, nobody will play me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mace Windu, in Star Wars. Nobody's gonna play that again.
True.
Well, I think he told them, like, anytime you need me to play Nick Fury, I'll do it. I was like, yes. Dude. And a part of me thought that maybe he would get powers.
Marvel wasn't gonna make Samuel OP, bro.
Was gonna happen. Good. We can always hope. Come on.
But no, when he blocked that punch and then like knocked Gravik through the fucking roof, I was like, "Oh damn, Nick, what's up?"
Oh my god, so what'd you do?
I'm like, I thought it would kill him.
No.
I don't know how to take this comment, to be honest with you.
Get that black man's powers.
I don't know how to take this.
This guy's on powers.
Shit, he got powers. He can control everybody.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He talks, people listening. He's just a dude.
That's his power.
Exactly.
But
so then it gets revealed that it's Gaia. Which then I was like, oh damn. I'm like, that guy just got juiced. She just got juiced for real. Like,
we needed an hour-long episode, and 30 minutes of that episode should have been Gaia beating the shit out of Gravik.
I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I would too. Thoroughly.
I would too.
That little fight scene between them, I wanted more of that.
Me
because
too.
You have way more power. So many powers that you could have just opened up the door.
Yeah.
Like they gave us a window into like what she has, and
what would have been cool is if they would have showed some of the powers that haven't been shown up in the MCU yet. It could have been a good way to introduce like maybe a superpower. And they're like, wait, who the fuck superpower is that? And then coming up in 2025, Marvel is introducing blah. And you're like, oh, but then it also goes, it plays back into, well, they're not going to show us nothing we haven't seen yet in the current MCU. And the last Fantastic Four, I think, was a Sony production.
That was a 13%er right there. You talking about 13%?
Yeah.
So then, wow, that was I can't get over that fight scene. That was awesome, and I was surprised.
be
She was actually
5 minutes. It was about 5 minutes, but it was fucking epic. It was like a 10 minutes build into it though. Like that speech. I mean, don't get me wrong. It gave us some really good backstory in that speech. But 5 fucking minutes for that epic battle? Come on, Marvel.
No, that's too much CGI.
Yeah,
that's way too much CGI. Like you have to break the bank for that, and I don't think they was gonna go that far. But what we got out of it.
So Marvel, not Marvel. I'm sorry, Disney's Andor. The budget for one episode was 9 figures per episode.
That's greedy.
Just for CGI, man. It's greedy.
No, I mean, it's fucking Star Wars.
Yeah,
but
they're CGI heavy.
But Andor was so fucking good though. If you haven't watched it,
I haven't watched Andor yet.
Not to get us on Star Wars, but fucking Andor was amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody said it was trash.
I don't know who the fuck you are, but you need to watch your tone, young man. Disappointed. I'm disappointed in you.
That is definitely Rob. That's definitely Rob.
I thought me and Rob had this conversation.
Oh, well then I don't know who this is then.
I don't either. I don't know, but I'm disappointed in them though. And your mommy and daddy are too.
Is that the worst?
All right, back to what we were fucking doing before this person showed up and completely killed my mood.
Then we shift to where Fury actually is. He's going to save the president. So you see Rhodey and a bunch of other like Secret Service agents trying to move the president and everything. And it comes down to a standoff. My girl Sonya's back. Sonya's back. I love her. Love her. Love her. Love her.
I don't know who this is, but they're kind of redeeming themselves. And I don't know if this is not Rob or Rob. You're just going to be not Rob because I don't know who the hell you are. You're not Rob.
Damn, you're not going to.
I'm not going to let this go. I'm disappointed.
So so Sonya comes back, and you got Fury in a standoff with Rhodey, and then you got the president there. You got a tense scene building up. That was I love that scene just because you could just see like on the president's face, like he didn't like know who like to trust.
Yeah. And
so when Nick Fury burst through that door, what I really wanted was his like, "I'm here, motherfucker." I needed that fucker in there, man.
Nah, they ain't gonna.
Don't say that. That's not nice.
Be nice. And then after they cap Rhodey, the president's just like, "I need a phone." Sonya's just like, "It's right here."
Yeah. Like she knew what was up.
Yeah.
She did. Oh, I love her. She is
go ahead and get it. Yeah, go ahead and make the call. I know you heard. You didn't expect this, but here, make the call.
Yep.
Did anybody else see like a shift in his behavior? Was it
the president?
Am I the only one that noticed that in this episode?
No, that last episode, that last like 10 minutes when he's talking to Nick and he's in the back of the presidential limo. He's like, you've made a fucking mistake, right? And it's kind of like the way his personality kind of shifted. I'm like, wait, did he just become a Skrull and we didn't see it?
Okay, I thought that was just me.
No, I thought the same thing.
So in the hospital, somebody correct me if you see something different. So in the hospital, he still has the steri strips and blood on his forehead.
Yeah.
Right? These wounds are still pretty fresh. They're only a few days.
Yes.
But when you cut to the scene where he's in the car, it's just a scar.
So this comment right here has me thinking, so that hate speech feels like a setup for the mutants. Is this the same president's name that's in X-Men?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't either, but it is very much sound like they had a good point.
No, that's a really
get them
good
off
point.
my planet.
Yeah, I mean, but the mutants aren't from another planet. Well, some of them are, but not all of them.
Maybe it's part of the tie-in. I know that
it could be
a setup,
maybe?
but the president's name isn't the same. I don't think.
I don't think so. What I thought in the moment was that that's a scroll.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally think it is.
I thought the same.
Yeah, that's what I thought in the
that
moment.
head wound.
Right. Honestly, I thought it could have been a clone of Gravik. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but did they clone Gravik?
It's not far-fetched.
I mean, no, it's really not. I mean, Coulson had like dozens and dozens of them.
Right. And if Skrulls were able to infiltrate that far into the government, who's to say they didn't infiltrate that far to learn how to do some of this stuff?
No, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, was Gravik really dead?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, yeah, she like blasted him through like, the upper abdomen area, and you kind of saw his eyes go dark. But I mean, he has the extremist healing abilities. I mean, the extremist can like regenerate limbs. I don't think it would be too much to just. I mean, I know she blasted him with like Captain Marvel's power.
Right.
Yeah, but Captain Marvel's completely OP'd in the MCU.
This is
Yeah.
true.
But I don't think that.
I mean, she's a badass, but she ain't that badass.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, it just that whole tone was different.
Is it Mephisto?
Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
Oh my God.
It's Mephisto.
Somebody has watched previous episodes of the Queens of Nerdom.
But yeah, so I do think like it's probably a scroll, and if it's not a clone of Gravik, then we got bigger issues.
It's another baddie.
We have bigger issues. coming out.
But
coming
still,
out
though, did we see Gravik turn back into a scroll when he supposedly died?
He was a scroll already.
He fought. Well, remember he fought as one.
Yeah, he fought, he was a scroll when he was fighting.
Yeah.
He was just.
I know. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
that would have been an easy answer, but he was already a scroll.
That's why I don't know. I don't trust it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I didn't like Captain Marvel that much. The TV series or the movie.
This series,
the writing was horrible.
This series made me appreciate Captain Marvel way much more.
Her story.
I'm finding in hindsight, I'm appreciating movies like Captain Marvel, even Eternals.
So I did enjoy the Eternals for what it gave us at the end.
Yeah.
But Captain Marvel, on the other hand, I still think it was kind of lazy writing, and they didn't do it justice.
Yeah, compared to a comic book.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I am a comic book guy, so
true.
Even though I'm not too heavy into the Marvel stuff, but I still keep track of what it is. I mean,
yeah.
I can get that.
So I really like the end of this episode. I actually did not expect this. So at the end, you see Fury goes home and telling Vara that, he's got to leave. And I'm assuming he's going back to Saber. And, she's like, well, I guess this is goodbye. And I was like, come on. I'm like, go with them. I'm like, come on, girl, go with him. Why are you staying? And my place is here. No, it's not. Go with him. And then just to see at the very end, she shows up, and I'm like, yes. I got the ending I wanted. I got very
chills.
Yeah.
It was cool. So on this comment right here, so the Eternals happen. I forgot what time frame they set the Eternals in off the top of my head, but this forms the island of Krakoa, where the mutants congregate. They're drawn to it
because it's alive. Yeah, I talked about this in the Queens of Nerd.
And you mentioned it in, I think, episode 2.
Yeah, I did.
Episode 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where that's from. But I don't know how it falls within the MCU. I have to go back and review timelines.
We are working our way towards it.
Yes.
So
it's going to play a bigger part later once mutants are actually introduced.
Correct.
So there's a fan theory that I read that they think that part of the reason why Fury went and built Saber with the Skrulls, because, not to go down a rabbit hole, but it's kind of like a home defense kind of thing. They think it was because of the Eternals.
That's an interesting theory.
Not just them. I mean, there's multiple threats from space that could pose a problem. I mean, we got Silver Surfer, who will be introduced. Yes, thank you, because for some reason I can't fucking say that all of a sudden. Not only that, we also got Thanos, who came from outer space.
Yeah,
they weren't prepared.
That alone would have made
for that invasion.
Start building Saber. Yeah.
And on top of that, we have a version of Ghost Rider, who is also cosmic.
Are you going to the to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with that one?
No, because that Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not the cosmic Ghost Rider. That was Danny Ketchum. And with his character, his version of the Ghost Rider isn't the person who is infected with the Ghost Rider. It is the car.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't trust those evil cars. I've seen Christine. You get me.
Great fucking car. But yeah, I think that's the whole premise of Saber, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not a very good fan theory, according to that Facebook user. So I don't know. That was just a theory that was part of it. Was the stuff that happened with the Eternals was one of the reasons why he went and air.
I love it. All right, you've redeemed yourself with that statement. Frank Castle is the cosmic Ghost Rider. Yes.
Yep.
But and I think that also brings to light that there's the Kree out there too, and there's
Chitauri, Ravagers.
Many other species and things out there. So it is a good. That's why, I understand why Vara was upset, but she knows what's out there.
She does.
You have to think they have seen it at some point. I mean, their world was constantly at war with somebody. It would just so happen to be the Krees that broke them.
Yeah. Right. And I just, for me, I don't know. I would have gone with him like she did in the end. That's why I love that ending so much. It's like, well, he has to. He's one of those guys that's married to his job, too.
Well, he literally married his job.
Yeah.
And he knew the whole time that she became a Skrull.
Yeah, she was a Skrull.
Yeah.
But
so to answer that question, is Saber supposed to be Sword? Yeah, that is a good one. Saber, yes. Saber is a part of Sword. It's
part of the whole.
It's a Sword base.
Yes. At least that's the way I'm understanding the way they're trying to use it.
Right. In that sense, that has.
It's got a kinky side, okay? Everybody has their fetishes and stuff.
That's what you
cool.
Don't bite me. She doesn't bite much anymore.
Yeah, good luck with foreplay on that one.
No.
Pass. Pass.
Hard pass, buddy.
That's so wrong. My brain didn't even go there when I watched it. Terrible.
That's a Rob statement right there, if I've ever heard one.
So, do you think they're using a lot of Stark tech?
The whole goddamn sword and saber was Stark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be. Oh,
everything is Stark tech.
I want to go back to Rhodey. Okay. So
let's go back to Rhodey and that fuck face who got shot in the fucking forehead.
Yeah. Bye, Reva. Deuces. So in the end, okay, so you remember Rhodey couldn't walk at all, right? Because he got clipped by one of Vision's blasts. and he couldn't walk at all.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
Not without assistance.
exactly. So he didn't have any braces on his legs.
No.
At the end,
He was rescued.
Yeah.
no, they had removed him. He was still wearing a hospital gown.
What I'm saying is, as far as the context of how long Rhodey has been a Skrull, Rhodey, okay, he couldn't walk like at all. He needed this dark tech, the legs.
At the
and
end
stuff.
of
I love
Endgame.
watching this light bulb go off.
Yes.
Yes.
So think about it. At the end of episode 6, when they rescue Brody and he's in a hospital
He
gown,
couldn't walk.
Cannot walk.
but not as bad as when he doesn't have those legs. He couldn't walk at all. He's having difficulty walking because he's weak.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been there a long time, as what he's being told. I
Yes.
think that he has been there for a long time.
They did carry him because he couldn't. He fell.
He wasn't able to walk at all.
Yeah.
Because
Now, it wasn't since the end of Endgame. Y'all ready for this theory?
Shoot.
All right. In Civil War, when he gets shot by the beam, right?
right.
They take him. He is in a hospital gown. This is the last time we see him in that hospital gown until they pull him out of that chamber at the end of
Correct.
episode 6, which means Rhodey has been there for upwards of 10 years. So what this means is Rhodey was never there as himself in the events of Endgame.
And yeah.
Which also means Rhodey doesn't know Tony Stark is dead. He doesn't know Natasha's dead. He doesn't know any of this.
there is a lot of stuff.
Right. This
That's
also,
10 years of your life just
Yeah.
missing.
This also means that a Skrull was able to be inside of Wakanda. This also means this means a lot. This has a lot of implications.
It does.
If that theory is actually true, it holds a lot of weight for Armor Wars.
Yeah. It really
So
does.
this could very well be Rob, because he's gonna find this shit out, and the first thing he's gonna want to do is fuck everything up.
No, we talked about it. This theory actually checks out. It actually does check out.
No, it makes perfect sense the way,
Yeah.
because if this is the setup to Armor Wars, then it was done the correct way.
Yeah, it was done.
Because even in Armor
absolutely
Wars, we
beautiful.
should actually see the sword base in Saber
Right.
if it plays out the way it should.
Yes, the Skrull was able to use War Machine
Because the
it was
DNA.
because of the DNA. Yes.
Mr. DNA. Sorry. I always think of Jurassic Park when you guys say DNA. Mr. DNA. Sorry.
Now I got that little DNA dancing in my fucking head.
Hey, I'm in your blood. Sorry. It's just where my brain goes.
How come Mr. DNA had to be a fucking redneck? Sound like one of my cousins talking.
I'm in your blood. I know. Get somebody else.
No,
I don't think it was
comment-
Iron Man 2.
No, that comment is good because I would have said that too.
Yeah.
But I actually went back and watched Civil War because of the show.
Rhodey did not fight in Wakanda.
No,
You want to?
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. And I think they pretty much proved that Agent Ross was after the events of Wakanda, because that was Agent Ross
that was Agent Ross. Yeah.
in the second Black Panther. Yeah, that was Agent Ross. So he wasn't there that long. But look at the end of episode 6 when they take Gaia into that storage facility and had all those humans that were hooked up to like the sensors. There could be
Mhm.
anybody in there.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Now, ask yourself this question with that. Is that the humans that are being used as Skrull identities right now?
Yeah. 100%.
Is that what that was intended to be?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
what I was thinking too.
Yeah. There's a million scrolls. That means
Yeah, I mean, not all of them. That's what I'm thinking. Like, not all of these people are dead. And like, somebody had to know that those million scrolls were coming.
So, I know they couldn't call them scrolls in the last X-Men movie.
So
with the Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
So they couldn't because of rights, I get. But the difference is here I like is that those scrolls just killed the person and like became them. But here they actually like I feel like are smarter because they keep them alive. They can go through their memories. They can.
That's what I was about to say. Because when they went one of the scrolls, I don't know, I can't remember. It was in one of the episodes where he touched his head and immediately absorbed the memories of that person, so he would know what he was doing, and know passwords and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean that circumnavigates the combat skills and stuff like that this person is talking about. If it is Rob, so that makes sense that he would know how to do these things because he would have absorbed those memories.
Right. Which to me, it's better to store them away instead of a body that you have to like dispose of. Like you keep the body just in case you need to go back and like there's different memories that you need to like analyze. That I thought was really interesting. But it's also unfortunately you're gonna find out like who's a scroll. But
yeah, but he may have been War Machine in the Battle of Wakanda, but that was still a scroll.
Yeah, that was the scroll. Even in Endgame, that was it was more the Rhodey in Endgame is more the person that you saw in the series, attitude wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's if Marvel actually like did that and planned that far out, that's crazy. Oh my gosh!
It makes you think of what like. I'm trying to come up with a theory on where they're going.
So we know this is a setup to Armor Wars.
Yeah.
So we know we're getting Armor Wars out of this, which the Punisher is going to be involved in, Daredevil, and a few others, I think. And we're going to at least get Fantastic Four, finally. Yeah. Hopefully a decent Fantastic Four, not that bullshit they produced last time.
You know what? I think... And hear me out when I lead Phase 5 to Phase 6. I think where they're going ultimately is Galactus. I think this is where this is heading.
So if we're getting Galactus, that means we're getting X-Men as well.
Oh, most definitely. They already planted the seed there because we already had Skrulls. We already had Skrulls visiting Wanda in WandaVision.
Yes, that's correct. We need to know who's going to be playing Wolverine after Deadpool 3.
Right. But yeah, there's this series tied a lot of ends together, and it's going to be the bridge for a lot.
Yes, for 5 and 6, Phase 5 and 6, I think. Because I think we're going to get revisits.
They did that. I mean, if you pay attention to all the different shows that Marvel has put out, they all help build towards
something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like they do. If you pay attention to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we also get a mutant in Black Panther.
There's mutants all over. We got it in Miss Marvel.
Just not,
we got
Miss Marvel was a mutant.
Yep. Black Panther. I believe this is going to be the bridge to saying, okay, Wanda is actually a mutant. I think they're going to go that route with it. They're already started popping up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get an X-Men.
Here's my theory going into, as we get Deadpool 3 coming into the MCU. He's bringing Wolverine with him.
Yes.
But we also got, what's his name? The dude that Owen Wilson plays. And then we got Miss Minutes, who has to do with time travel. And oh, by the way, he still got Cable's watch.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we
So
could
it's
get
also the
all
mutant.
these loose ends tied up in one 2.5 hour Deadpool 3 movie.
Yeah, you really could.
Mobius, thank you.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Morbius.
Yes.
And the fact that I said that just made me throw up a little bit in my mouth.
Sorry.
That movie had potential, but Jared Leto and bad writers fucked it up.
I think it's the writers more than Jared Leto. He just has horrible luck.
But I think there's just so many hidden mutants, but they're just not outright calling them mutants.
Right.
I think
That.
that's going to be that big step that they're just going to start flat out calling them mutants.
I just lost like
tying them
30
together.
seconds worth of videos. I don't know what's going on.
You can-
Like everything went black on me. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
But no, I think
yeah.
you're right, Jen. I think they're going that way, and just they're here. They've been here, and let's just call a spade a spade. They're mutants.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm curious how they're gonna introduce that, but yeah, they're definitely, and I hope that when they introduce mutants this time around, I hope that they choose some different ones and not the same ones. You know me, I really like seeing different characters. There's so many different characters in the comic books that you could talk about, and they always talk about the same ones all the time. I do. I'm sorry. I get so bored with it sometimes. I'm like, you talked about this one all the time already.
Why do you think I went away from Marvel comics and went more toward the DC Dark, where we get Swamp Thing and Constantine and Justice League Dark, and went over to like Boom Studios, who gave us Something Is Killing the Children and House of Slaughter and those kinds of things? That's what I've been reading here lately, not Marvel.
Ooh, I like this theory. That's right. Clea. They never really talked about her at the end of Doctor Strange. They just kind of threw her in there, and then just kind of like whoop, noped out. And I was like,
yeah, I didn't like that. I'm like, that lady plays such a huge part within the overall. It's kind of like when we talk DC. And we talk Court of Owls in DC. Like, nothing's happening in the DC universe, at least within the Batman time frame and storyline, without the Court of Owls saying, okay, Clayface wants to come out and play. Okay, cool. We can let him out, but this is what he's here's his parameters. So
okay, so President Ritson did start the animosity towards mutants. Okay.
It makes sense. And then it's the president after him that we see in the original X-Men that became the Blobfish.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
DC has. Is this Tim?
Who is this?
To be Rob.
Oh, DC.
Shame on you.
So I think that's our. Who we got here? Mike Marcello.
What?
Okay.
Who knows?
I don't know who this person is, but
hold on, bring that picture back up.
It's Danny DeVito with boobs.
I don't like your comment, but your profile picture is amazing.
Apparently, they are neither Rob nor Tim, but it's a combination of Rob and Tim, and that's scary. So, guys, any more final thoughts before we start rounding out this episode? This very special episode.
I really like that series. I think it.
I don't think it deserves the fucking hate it's getting.
And
that's what we got out here for the last hour and 45 minutes. It didn't deserve the hate that it received.
Oh, and I love the little love story tie-in. It shows the softer side of Fury. I'm sorry, I keep going back to that, but I freaking love it.
All right, so with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to USDN's first ever rap party. And no, none of us. Well, actually, Black is a rapper, but we ain't doing that kind of rapping tonight. And with that said, I'm going to apologize in advance because tomorrow you are getting the abridged version of your normal Friday smoke pit. Because
we're gonna give you guys the Friday. We're taking tomorrow off.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
What?
I did not okay this.
I did.
I wanted my 45-minute, at least 50 minutes of the smoke pit.
Nah, we'll give you guys the Friday. You guys got it.
Aw, thank
Enjoy.
you. That's so nice.
I don't know who just blocked this mic guy, but thank you.
I did.
Thank you. This fucking guy. But anyways, back to what I was getting at. So I rescind my apology, but I do want to apologize for there not being a smoke pit tomorrow, because tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I am once again bringing you with EJ this time. Jen's going to be on kid duty. An interview with comic book artist Drew Moss. He's a local fella here in Virginia, and it just so happens I was introduced to him by Scott at my local comic book shop, and I was like, you know what, it's a shot in the dark. We hadn't done an interview in a hot minute, so let me reach out. So, and I've done some Googling, and he doesn't appear that he really does a lot of interviews.
Oh.
So I'm on board, and our focus tomorrow is really going to be on his current project with Dynamite Comics and Disney called Gargoyles: The Dark Ages. It is a prequel to Gargoyles. And he's also done some other work, but we'll get into more of that tomorrow. But really going to put some focus on the Gargoyles: The Dark Ages, because like I said, it is a prequel to Gargoyles, and that's something I always wanted as a kid. They gave us some glimpses in the cartoon series of kind of like these guys were human at one time, but this is giving us that entire backstory. So it's going to be a 5-issue run that's taking place at the same time as the regular Gargoyles. And I did talk to him today. There is a delay on issue 2. I think we're going to get it late August for issue 2.
Awesome.
But what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to drop the rest of the covers. I dropped 2 covers of Hudson, the Virgin variant, and also the normal variant of the Hudson. It's up on the USDN page right now if you want to go have a look at it. Incredible cover work. And then tomorrow I'm going to drop the rest of the covers onto the Facebook page. And they're phenomenal covers. They're done by the various artists, and they're brilliant. The story is really good. But yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. Same bat time as tonight, 2100 Eastern time, 9 p.m. Eastern time for people who don't speak military. And yeah, it's going to be a good show. Hopefully everybody can come out and sit down and enjoy this interview. Bring your questions if you ever wanted to ask a comic book artist. I'm going to try to have him for about an hour and a half. I do have to stay within the restraints of his family times and his work time because he is a full-time comic book artist.
Nice.
Such a cool job. Dang.
I know.
We're going to dig into that tomorrow and kind of like how he got into it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to hear about it. Yeah, I can't wait to. I'll definitely be watching. Definitely.
I look forward to that, man. I will be sitting in the audience. I'll be a fan tomorrow.
I really wanted my smoke pit to happen. But no, I appreciate that love that y'all are giving us to take this big opportunity to do that.
Hey man, gotta spread the love, man. So that was amazing work you did to get them on the platform. I want you to know that it's appreciated, that you guys are bringing something to this audience, and I just appreciate the work you guys do, man. I really do. So good job. And again, I look forward to being in the audience, hearing about it, because Gargoyles is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
So one last thing before I turn it over to Jen to wrap us up for the rest of the show, and I'll play the outro out. Tomorrow, I'm also going to drop a poll into the USDN page. Our next TV series that we want to do a party on, or a route party, will be Ahsoka, which drops August 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
What we really want to know is, do you want it per episode, or do you want us to do a big route party at the end? I know what I want and what I'm leaning toward, but we want to know what the people want, because here at USDN, we are always for the people and by the people.
Well, we could always do it a little bit after. I always try to give people a chance to watch it. You know what I mean? Because I don't always have time to watch it that day. So keep that in mind too when you're voting. Is, your life. I don't expect you to watch stuff as it drops. So if you guys need some time, think about that too. Okay, some people are saying per episode. So.
Bring us home, Jen.
No.
All right.
Hold on real quick. Con says hi.
What's up,
Hey,
Con?
Con.
What's he doing? All right. So, upcoming shows on USDN. Okay, so we have the Queens of Nerddom episode 4 is going to air August 12th from 8 to 10 p.m. ish. Tanya and I like to chat. And then the USDN episode 2, we will continue talking about our predators and aliens. That's going to be on August 19th, also from 8 to 10 p.m. Please
we'll probably Rolex times depending on Jen's work schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
So we may get it'll be between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time, since we're East Coasters.
Yeah. We'll always update that information to you guys. And please let us know how we did on our very first wrap party. Like Jeff said, we're definitely going to do it again for Ashoka when she comes out on Disney Plus. That's going to be August 23rd. If there's any other TV shows you guys want to see us talk about, I'm always open to watching things. So if something interesting you saw, let me know.
X-Files, because I'm currently watching it.
Shit, man, that's like 60. That's like what, 8 seasons?
I think I'm on season 6. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's ridiculous. And a special thanks goes out to the Dat Feeling Podcast Network podcast group for all the love and support that they have given us and to continue to give us. We greatly appreciate that. And hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for more. And ladies and gentlemen, that is USDN approved. All done. Good game.
Awesome.